Hello, and welcome to Compelled to Impact. It's great to be able to share years of transformational experience with you. I'll be sharing my perspectives and touching on several different subjects to give you more ideas of how to nurture your whole being, heart, mind, and body in alignment with your spirit. Having been a coach and mentor for over 15 years, I can speak from my own experience and the experiences of my clients. I'm very grateful and encouraged when you like, subscribe, and share my channel, but I'm definitely grateful that you're here. I'll be reading and responding to comments as well as what you'd like to hear more about. We are at episode 2, Perfecting All the Way. No matter what your background, I'm sure you'll agree it's essential to walk your talk with faith, joy, hope, and love through the grace and compassion for yourself and others. I believe in my higher power as God, who loves each of us and desires the best outcome for us to become the masterpiece as originally intended. I believe that Jesus was here to set a new standard for that cultural norm, and that the Holy Spirit of God has been present around us to guide us. I believe heaven is also here, just as is the thin veil to pass through from this life to the next. This is my next phase of mentoring in the 5th dimension, an intentional state of unconditional love, peace, and joy. Understandably, one would go in and out of that state because we live here and need to be physically, emotionally, and mentally grounded, as well as spiritually minded. So you can't just do one without the other. They are all components of who you are. There are a plethora of variables of this idea, only because we live here on this earth and we all have very different combinations of experiences, background, character, and perceptions. There can't be judgment for these essential components of who you are. However, everything good is possible when we set our minds on it and when we work toward it. You don't need to believe the same way I do or anyone else. In fact, always research and test what you hear to discover the truth. I didn't always know this in my life, as it took unexpected twists and turns. However, the point is that you can co-create a better life and become better through your experiences. It's a huge part of the ongoing journey of life, and I'm not the boss of you. So test everything I say, as well as anyone else you listen to. I believe in focusing on and celebrating the similarities of living excellently, giving generously, and loving lavishly, which is without condition. When you have faith in someone or something bigger than yourself, that's a plus, since you expand into the magnificent unseen and unknown. If you don't have that, it's hard to expand into something. Besides this, if I ever thought that I had all the answers and insight to live on this earth, I would be sadly mistaken, always coming up short. I tried doing what I could from what I knew for a very long time and found out I knew nothing. It's how harmful generational patterns continue. We only know what we know, just as our parents and everyone before them. It only takes one person to break free from these patterns and shake things up in a family lineage. I'm talking about actually being adequate enough to navigate a full spirit life, soul life, and physical life. We can get to that point if we shake up the status quo and find the truth. We as humans are limitless when connected to the divine spirit, which in my life is the Holy Spirit of God. So far in 2022, my world was shaken even more than the previous life-sucking events of 2020 and 2021. Those years threw the whole world into chaos, right? However, we can always find at least one redeeming factor, and I hope you are able to see many of those now. One thing that devastated my life was needing to close a brick and mortar business since we kept shutting down. During open weeks, people were still freaked out about going places, and then my expenses were way bigger than any income. I had already decided to pause my coaching business because I had an epiphany in 2019 that I wasn't serving on the level I should be. It wasn't clear to me what that meant yet. However, after closing the other business, I knew that I was doing useless work only so I would feel productive and purposeful. It turns out that it was my way of avoiding the bigger, riskier path. Part of the dysfunction of my childhood was believing that I was only valuable when being productive, with attempts of doing things perfectly, and of course, failing. So we all know it's impossible to be perfect, and sort of a ridiculous quest like Don Quixote, if you know who that is. Hence, creating the busyness of a brick and mortar business, and the main reason I failed during the challenges we all went through. It's okay. We learn from failure, and we learn what doesn't work. And it takes us closer to the things that do work. Sharing with my small circle became inadequate for many reasons, and it was time to be bolder and trust in a bigger vision movement. When my sister passed earlier in 2022, it took months for me to process and recover. During that time, I realized there were probably thousands of people who were crushed by hopelessness. And I felt more and more compelled to serve a bigger audience. I wasn't sure what I was going to do and never imagined I'd be making YouTube videos. In fact, I said I would never do this until I did. Since I was a bit freaked out about doing this and being on a global stage, the conclusion I came to has given me consolation and comfort. I might feel like a poster child for overcoming challenges, but it absolutely is not about me. Sharing on this channel is about you, how we connect, and how my experiences and voice can contribute value to your life. This is about dropping the small victories from my life into the ocean of humanity and creating ripples for anyone seeking incentive. Once I began thinking about making bigger ripples, I saw this quote by Sadhguru. When stillness arises from the intense alertness and awareness, your perception opens up in ways that you have never thought possible. In many cases, when you allow this transformation to take place, your thoughts open up in ways you weren't aware of at all, or didn't think were in your realm of possibilities. That's what thinking small or insufficient is. Taking the first step in faith can open doors you weren't conscious of before. This usually means doing something you know you should do without evidence of the benefits for yourself or anyone else yet. This is taking a step of faith, not relying on what anyone else might think of you. It's the result of being so present in the moments of your life that even though each moment might be imperfect within itself, your pure presence in it connects with being perfected. Every moment holds a choice to be perfected in it, or step away from that possibility and stay stagnant or mundane. You always have a choice. This is the premise of mindfulness. The more you practice the art of receiving perfection in each moment, the more alert and aware you are of limitless possibilities for redeeming factors and the energy of goodness around you. When you make this a practice, you naturally extend this awareness to others while reaching a new level of understanding, which allows and opens your heart to unconditional love. Being present in each moment, allowing the imperfection to be perfected, as a gift from God, sitting in the stillness of the presence of the Holy Spirit, connecting with your spirit, which is the eternal part of your being, and making space for unlimited results of releasing control of the situation through your faith are all part of the conscious choice and process to live on a higher level, rising above mediocrity. Okay, so that was a little intense. And I promise not every episode will be so extreme, although even the lighthearted ones will be passionate. I can't see that there's any other way to live at this point. I want to serve you to the best of my abilities, so buckle up, Buttercup. I appreciate you listening to my channel and letting me walk with you through your perfecting life. Share this with someone who is struggling or searching for their own truth. For more in-depth connection and information, check out the show notes below for links and offers. Thank you for being here, and don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and always live excellently, give generously, and love lavishly. Thanks. Bye. Mwah.